Mark Skaife on pole position again, but just by 200ths of a second over Simon Kane. The reigning Australian champion driver, Mark Larkham, who dominated the first round, brings up the second row, along with Mark McLaughlin. Still hasn't got his car firing as he wants it. Paul Morris was last onto the grid. Tony Blanche, the second Thalgo car. Then it's Searle Hocking, just broken a drive shaft, been wheeled off the grid. Keith Carling, Brian Sampson, George Parkinson, and McCoy in 12th place. It's a 15-car grid now.
Mark Skaife, Simon Kane alongside you on the front row puts a guy with current European experience. Does that worry you at all?
No, it doesn't, John. It's just another competitor there, and what we've got to do is beat them all to the first corner, and there's 3 or 4 guys behind Simon that are just as big a heartache.
He says that his main way of driving now that he's come back from Europe is just to go for it at all costs.
Oh, well, that suits us. If we're going to knock the wheels off it, we might as well do it now.
Skaife versus Kane. Series point score for Skaife, one-off race for Kane. Best start for Skaife, but Kane's going well, so too is from the second row of the grid, Larkham. But in fact it goes Skaife, Kane, Larkham. So they were very even.
Looks like either McLaughlin or Blanche in 4th place, one of the Thalgo cars.
And spinning wildly, we saw the dust a long time before we saw the car. Number 12 is Tony Blanche. Sydney property developer, didn't start racing till he was 27. And perhaps at this instant, he thought that was even a bad decision then. Very eligible bachelor. Skaife now moving away from Simon Kane.
Yes, Skaife's bolted. He's done a good job, slipped away on the first lap, which is an indication of his experience as well. When you do as many miles as Mark Skaife has done this year, you get into the racing mode very, very quickly.
Yes, indeed. He's got a big lead, and then it is McLaughlin and Larkham absolutely side by side. McLaughlin on the inside. That's Kane, number 1 because he's the reigning Australian champion, and Larkham 3rd, McLaughlin's 4th.
It's a brave move by Larkham, holding on around the outside. That is very brave. These cars doing 250 odd, 260 odd kilometres an hour down the straight. To go around the outside of someone, very brave. As
one of Australia's more famous radio announcers knows, because Doug Mulray drove car 11 during the week, and up in the garage there, he said 142 is the time to beat. 12 lapper, they're on lap 3. Skaife, Kane, Larkham, then McLaughlin.
They seem to have strung out a little bit. Skaife's got a good lead, and they sort of just seem to be fairly stagnant at this stage. No one seems to be trying to, or catching the other car. Skaife's car, very well set up. He's very good at diagnosing any problems that go on in the car and getting it sorted.
His Nissan team manager, Fred Gibson, looking after him here. He's got a lead of 2.65 seconds, and it's 2.85 back from second place Kane to third place Larkham. The 24-year-old Mark Skaife well in command.
Is Simon 24-year-old, same as Mark? It's a good age to be involved in at this level. When you look at it, you can go on from there.
4.5 seconds now, the leader. Skaife's advantage. And 5.96, virtually 6 seconds back to third place Mark Larkham. This battle's further back in the field. 27, Paul Morris. In 28, Ron Searle.
Both these young guys, ex-Formula Ford racers, and Paul Morris has signed a contract for the Benson and Hedges team for next year for BMW. He's going to drive on the Benson and Hedges car. And Ron Searle, this is his first outing in a Formula Brabham, and he's doing a damn good job. He's a quite aggressive young guy, and he's putting a very good effort in.
Indeed, it was Morris here in car number 27 who put in such a performance at the second Eastern Creek meeting rounds 2 and 3 of the Tooheys Australian Drivers' Championship. very confidently leading Mark Skaife for a major part of the race, although it's only been Mark Larkham that's taken a race win from this man, Mark Skaife. He did that in round 1, where Skaife was then busy with Mark McLaughlin and managed to fend him off with a car that wasn't quite as quick down the through the corners, because he'd had reduced wing on the car, reduced downforce, but it was very quick down the straight. It just enabled him to fend off Mark McLaughlin, who really became frustrated. And ever since then, really has run into trouble in the lead of the 2 Thalgo team cars. Mark Skaife averaging 166.36, down to the low 25s, but well capable, 23.2 in qualifying. And they don't go off their times very much, John Smith, during a race.
No, they should be able to run at that pace the whole race. They qualify in 23s. They should be able to race at 23s.
Mark Larkham in 3rd place in car number 10. The only man that's taken a race from Mark Skaife this year in the TUI's Australian Drivers' Championship. Of the 5 that have been held previously, clearly won round 1. He made it a runaway win. He hasn't been able to duplicate that ever since. Great shame, he's 26 years old, averaging 165 kilometres an hour, but out in the 25.7s, needs to be a couple of seconds quicker than that, really, to be on a hot pace.
A very well presented car, though, Will. It's nicely turned out. The team that behind him put in a lot of work, make the car good. It's been very reliable. He's had his share of problems in bits and pieces, and he's had a couple of body style changing, trying to get more straight line performance out of it. He's just a little bit off the pace here today.
Mark Larkham, lovely guy, and very talented too. And for Peter Boylan Racing, currently 4th in the championship, but quite a long way away. He's on 45 points compared with Skaife's 95. 89, Formula Ford champion. Very jolly guy, and like a lot of these blokes, both young, talented, and very dedicated to trying to get somewhere. But gee, trying to jump out of this pond into the pond in Europe is a most gigantic step. It really is not jumping out, it's leaping off the top board.
Yeah.
Skaife doing a very good job. The apple of Freddie Gibson's eye. And why not? Had a very exciting accident a year ago in the Grand Prix in Adelaide when the GTR went upside down in a big way and caught fire and everything. Absolute wreck, but he's coming down to the checkered flag now. Absolutely error-free, an immaculate race from Mark Skaife that takes him further ahead in the TUI's Australian Drivers' Championship, and does indeed guarantee him the title this year. So at 24 years of age, he will be one of the younger Australian champion drivers. Into 3rd place comes Mark Larkham. So that 12-lap race gives these figures. Mark Skaife at a race time of 17 minutes 6.12 seconds, 9 seconds ahead of Simon Kane. A further 7 are from Mark Larkham, or to Mark Larkham. Then it's Mark McLaughlin, Paul Morris and Ron Searle in the very close company that they were through most of the race.